Well, everybody, so the last three talks you heard from members of the working groups, which is an initiative from ROECSG that we had created this past year. And we just wanted to take this time right before lunch just to give a nice cross-section of the ongoing efforts within the various subgroups. So we have divided these groups by the primary focus based on undergraduate medical education or graduate medical education, patient education, continuing medical education, professional education. So very briefly, to show you slides that were prepared by the various groups. So for the UGME working group, the goals and team, we have the team shown here on the right. I should mention that these are all very much open for participation. Anyone is able to join at any time. These forums are generally relatively structured but informal, so conversations can happen and be initiated by any member that comes. The membership, as I said, is open. So for the working group for UGME, we are seeking to advance undergraduate medical education, innovation, and research, foster collaboration. We have a number of smaller projects, as well as multi-center studies, brainstorming project ideas, and of course, improve the rigor of the methodology, share opportunities for scholarship, and promote networking. And this is true across all of the working groups. Included on current projects, as shown here. Of course, these slides will be available for all attendees to look into further, but we have a project Generation X-ray. It's an outreach project of international origin to target trainees to introduce broadly to radiation oncology through just conversations led by Yana Keller. Right on interest survey study, and that's being in Canada, brought into the US, and that's led by Dr. Parasite Pinkeldu. Data radiation oncology, you saw that presented today. The standardization of the radiation oncology medical student evaluations, and that was also presented very nicely by Dr. Price. Another flagship effort within the group is this Learn Oncology ROECSG podcast project. So the idea here is to provide short podcasts to highlight careers in oncology, and that's led by Dr. Parasite. And so we have a sample of that. This is coming out of the Cancer Careers podcast that exists currently in Canada. And we're going to broaden this to include a number of institutions and folks across a number of different roles within radiation oncology. So let's move on to the GME group. So you saw today two excellent projects, the ropes for the plan evaluation, as well as the team role for teach mentoring. So I won't say more about that in so much as you already heard that was one of the presentations. Hopefully there'll be some opportunities for other groups or other individuals to participate. With CME again, same core principles, and I should note that for most of these groups, we're meetings with a cadence of every few months, and so there's not a major commitment to participate. And you should reach out to ROECSG leadership to get more details as to the time and location virtually of these meetings. So included within this group, elevator pitches, and we have the notion around certifications, the right CME, so opportunities and changing the landscape. Singer, global requirements for additional certification, maintenance, international survey with Marino, contouring. So contouring being a big theme as part of treatment planning that you're hearing today. Community contour review by Dr. Schuster. So they have a published manuscript that was referred to previously. Clinical pathways to facilitate contouring education. Dr. Lyndon Barrowall. So there's an ESTRO abstract, and we're going to see where that heads. Simulation-based contouring and auto-segmentation by Dr. Gillespie, and communication. It's a very busy group, very active. OncoTalk, training patient communication. Dr. Horowitz, targeting patient education through calls and oral messages, questions Dr. Schuster, and then multidisciplinary education through thoracic oncology by Dr. Thomas. With regard to the interprofessional disciplinary working group, so there were a number of meetings. You can see the members here. So things discussed include physics boot camp, which would be an extension of work already done at UVA, treatment planning, this notion of having more automated workflows for contouring and templates. So you can see that many of these are at different stages of conception. Basics is high 5x6 videos built by Gabriel Peters, as you'll hear more about later today, and curated objective plans. So you've seen some of that. Want to join the UVA? There's a plug right there. Closer here. The numbers. And then last education update. So creating a central repository. No, please come.
You can keep talking.
No, we want you to.
Our
introduce yourself.
yeah.
There's not. You came back from here.
So Samuel, she's Jennifer Croak. So we're leading our colleagues of the patient education working group. And so we've been working hard, really kind of developing some projects from scratch. And so really kind of in our several meetings that we've had so far, we've established the group dynamic. It started out as a very big kind of dynamic group, and then it's kind of narrowed down to a core group that is, we have kind of a project we're working on right now, and then several projects that are on a longer timeline. And so really these are our goals here, and some of the ideas from our initial brainstorming session were to create a central repository of patient education resources. ROECSG actually has quite a few, but there are many others that are kind of developing and sprouting up, and it'd be nice to really have a repository for those that are accessible to all, including globally. Produce educational content. There's some great ideas in our initial brainstorming about, some institutions, right, have kind of proprietary videos that they give to patients to help them navigate the experience, but those are usually not shared beyond institutions. So we want to create something that is essentially institution agnostic, and then make it externally available. And then patient consent forms. Actually, one of our members has published quite a bit in some prominent journals about how really the readability of consent it is an issue. And then I've seen this in practices by patients don't understand this. 50-page document, it's a legal document, really. So, especially if they only have a secondary education level, we really need to tailor things to them. And then, but really where we're starting is this project that's highlighted in bold. And so essentially, evaluating patterns of practice and preferences with regard to patient education is kind of really from a big picture perspective. And so we thought that, in a very intentional way to assess kind of what the, what's going on right now, then we can assess where there may be gaps and where there may be opportunities for improvement. And so we do have an IRB that's pending for this, that we will be kind of a collaborative with a few different institutions. And so we did, in some of our subsequent sessions, create a survey that actually was a lot of input from our group. And then we're planning to distribute that to, ROECSG related institutions and individuals participating in ROECSG by a formal process, by a red cap. Kind of the future goal is then once we have this data and we're able to analyze it in a structured way to assess how can we really explore the patient education experience and from the patients themselves. So right now our survey is focused on providers, and we really want a range of perspectives, not just physicians, but also nurses, therapists, and we have actually representatives of all of them on our committee. And so patient education is a team effort. We want to assess that entire team, and then also, but then really what matters though is the patients. Right? So that's the next step, but that's going to require a lot more IRB approvals. And so we want to start at the provider level. So happy to judge as well.
Yeah, no, and then the next slide is just our committee members, and a shout out to Jane. She's really taking the lead to do the IRB. There's more work we thought we could just do it through an exception. There's different centers. I know mine, for example, have very strict rules. So that's going through, and then hopefully we need the survey sent out by the end of the summer, not during the summer, going to fall, maybe around after time to make some get increased responses. Yeah, and then that's our committee. I think that's the whole list, and I apologize if I missed some members. And if you want to join, just reach out to me.
yeah, we're happy to have new members and, engagement in the patient education committee is always welcome. And so, new ideas are great. Kind of what we're starting is kind of from scratch, but, people are welcome to bring other ideas. If you've got, like, in my own center, I need to do some brochures and things that are kind of more artsy to kind of almost like the super type stuff to just help, because I actually draw lots of stuff from scratch in front of patients rather than drawing it every single time. I think I can make a little prostate, space for it. Just make it easier, streamline, duplicate all the copy, and then it's a lot easier communication. So, yeah, any insight or, is welcome. We're open to feedback.
Thank you so much.